Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the Listen Up Girl podcast. I'm your host, Zach Randles-Friedman. Before we get started on the show, I wanted to ask if you could please go to the description of this podcast and click on the audience survey link. This survey helps me understand who my audience is. It also helps me think about ideas for this podcast and other podcasts that I do. My other podcast is Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay. I have lots of ideas that I want to do and guests I want to bring on. But before I do any of that, it would be great just to get your feedback, and it only takes 10 minutes. So thanks so much for doing this. So let's get right into the news today. This is your trusted source for LGBTQ plus headlines with culture, conversation that matters. I'm Zach Randles-Friedman, bringing you the biggest stories from politics, history, love, and everything fabulous in between. So let's dive in to the biggest story that we've all been waiting for. The Supreme Court upholds marriage equality, at least for now. The Supreme Court has quietly but significantly upheld the right to same-sex marriage by refusing to hear a case that could have reopened the national debate. The justices declined an appeal from former county clerk from Kentucky, Kim Davis, who became infamous in the 2015 for refusing to issue marriage license to same-sex couples, even after the landmark Obergefell versus Hodges decision legalized marriage nationwide. Davis argued that she was exercising her religious freedom, but multiple courts disagreed, ruling that she had violated constitutional rights. Now, with the Supreme Court refusing to take her case, she faces hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages and legal fees owed to the couples she discriminated against. The court gave no written explanation for rejecting the appeal, a move that comes amid growing anxiety from LGBTQ plus advocates, given the same conservative majority previously overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022. Many feared marriage equality could be next on the chopping block, but for now the ruling stays strong. Human rights campaign Kelly Robinson celebrated the news, saying, "Today, love won again. Public servants take an oath to serve everyone, including LGBTQ plus people. The court affirmed that denying others their rights has real consequences. It's a moment of relief, though activists warn it's not time to let our guard down. Equality, they say, remains something that must be continually defended." And that was all reported by The Guardian, Human Rights Campaign, and CNN. So I'm so excited to know, especially since I am a gay man who has been married to my husband, and we've been together for 27 years, and the fact that they're not currently taking away marriage equality is amazing. So what a great way to start off the week. On this day in 1984, Chris Smith breaks barriers in British politics. So let's go back to 1984, where British politics changed forever. Labour MP Chris Smith became the first member of Parliament in the UK and one of the first in the world to voluntarily come out as gay. At the time, the crisis was fueling moral panic, and the LGBTQ community faced widespread discrimination. During a rally in Rugby, Warwickshire, protesting a proposed local ban on employing gay people, Smith took to the stage and said something that would echo through history. "Good afternoon. I am Chris Smith. I am Labour MP for Islington South and Finsbury, and I'm gay." The crowd erupted in applause, a moment of courage that marked a turning point for queer visibility in British politics. Reflecting years later, Smith told the University of Cambridge, "When I came out publicly in 1984, it was about a year later that I'd been elected. Then I became a cabinet member for 13 years later, and I was the first openly gay cabinet member anywhere in the world. The rather wonderful thing was, when this happened, no one really noticed. Actually showed me how much progress we have made." Smith's bravery paved the way for the openly LGBTQ politicians from Angela Eagle to Pete Buttigieg, proving that authenticity can be political power. I mean, that's amazing. He did open the doors for so many politicians that could be themselves. My next story is the U-Haul effect, why queer couples move in so fast. So let's talk about love and moving trucks. The new survey by Her dating app has confirmed that queer women and non-binary people have long joked about the U-Haul effect. According to the study, nearly 50% of lesbians and non-binary couples move in together within 2 months of dating, compared to that heterosexual couples who typically wait more than a year before cohabitating. And the difference is striking. So what's behind this? The survey found that 40% cited love as their reason, 29% said companionship, and 12% admitted it was just plain convenience. A mix of emotional intensity and practicality. Experts say this commitment often reflects how queer relationships are built around authenticity and emotional safety. For many in the LGBTQ+ community, finding someone who gets you and accepts every part of you can be rare and deeply affirming. So when this happens, people don't waste time. HER's CEO Robin Exton said the data highlights both humor and heart. The stereotype might make people laugh, but it also reflects how deeply queer people value connection, honesty, and shared space. So maybe that U-Haul effect isn't a punchline. It's just a sign of how love in the queer community often defies traditional timelines. Next, and the final story for the day, is Florida Attorney General wants to cancel a drag queen Christmas. So finally, the last battle in Florida's war on drag, Attorney General James Youthmeyer, a Republican and close ally of Governor Ron DeSantis, is pressuring Pensacola City Council to cancel an upcoming holiday drag show, calling it demonic and harmful to children. The event, A Drag Queen Christmas, has toured the U.S. for nearly a decade and knows it's a playful adult-only performances. With music and holiday flair, it's scheduled to take place at the Sanger Theater on December 23rd, and tickets clearly state it's for audience 18 and over. Despite that, Youthmeyer is demanding the city pull the plug, claiming the show corrupts traditional values. Local LGBTQ+ advocates have fired back, accusing misinformation and political grandstanding. One organizer told the Pensacola News-Journal, "This is an adult show for consenting adults. We've done it for years without incident. It's about joy, laughter, community, and not indoctrination." Critics say the controversy is part of a broader campaign to censor queer art in Florida, and one that's already led to bans on pride displays, drag brunches, and even library books featuring LGBTQ characters. As the holiday season approaches, performers and allies are urging supporters to show up, speak out, and make it clear queer joy doesn't need permission. And that was reported by the Pensacola News-Journal, Advocate Magazine, and NBC News. So that's our roundup for today's news. From courtroom victories to cultural clashes, the fight, the fun continue. Remember, love wins, visibility matters, and we're here to keep you informed, inspired, and be a little bit louder every week. I'm your host, Zach Randles-Friedman, signing off. Until next time, stay proud, stay powerful. If you have not already subscribed to my podcast, please do and share it with all your friends. And don't forget, marriage equality is currently safe. We won.